I want you to meet Emily. Every morning, Emily wages a silent war against her own reflection. With a deep breath, she forces a smile and recites the script she was given. I am wealthy, I am successful, I am a magnet for money. The words feel hollow like a foreign language. They echo in the quiet bathroom, then vanish, leaving behind only the stark reality of a stack of unpaid bills on her desk. She does this for 10 minutes, a daily ritual of hope, but it's a fragile hope. She opens her ledger book, praying for a change in fortune, and sees the same negative balance as yesterday. A familiar knot of disappointment tightens in her stomach. By lunchtime, the postman delivers another envelope, a car repair, a medical expense, and the fragile hope shatters. It's replaced by a cold, creeping anxiety, a voice that whispers, see, it's not working. Who are you trying to fool? By the end of the day, Emily feels utterly defeated. She feels like a fraud, a child playing dress up in her mother's clothes. The chasm between the life she is affirming and the life she is living has become a source of profound pain. Her affirmations are not making her stronger. They are making her weaker, serving as a constant, painful reminder of everything she does not possess. Emily's story is the story of 99% of people who try to use the power of their word. They are handed a sword, but are taught to use it as a walking stick. They are told they have the voice of a king, but are instructed to speak with the tone of a beggar. They are taught to ask, to wish, to hope. I am here to tell you that is the fundamental error. You are not here to ask. You are here to decree. You're not a beggar at the gates of the universe. You are the judge holding the gavel, and it's time you learned how to bring it down. To understand why your affirmations have failed, you must first understand the courtroom of your own mind. This courtroom has two key figures, the judge and the court reporter. The judge is your conscious mind. It is the part of you that analyzes, that chooses, that desires. It is the voice that says, I wish to be wealthy. The court reporter is your subconscious mind. It is a vast, silent, and infinitely powerful entity. It does not judge. It does not argue. It simply, and with perfect accuracy, records everything that is said and felt in the courtroom and treats it as binding precedent. It is the engine that runs your life, the unseen hand that guides your actions, your habits, and your perception of the world. Here is the secret. The court reporter is almost completely deaf to the judge's words, but it is exquisitely sensitive to the judge's feelings and conviction. When you stand in the mirror and say, I am wealthy, while your entire being is trembling with the fear of your accounts, the court reporter ignores the words and records the feeling. The official record for the day reads terror, lack, scarcity. And because the subconscious treats its records as a law, it then orchestrates your reality to bring you more circumstances that will validate that feeling. It is not punishing you, it is merely agreeing with you. The affirmations of a beggar are full of hopeful words and fearful feelings, and the court reporter records the fear. The decrees of a judge, however, are different. They are spoken with a finality and a feeling of authority that the court reporter cannot ignore. A decree is a verdict. It is the end of the argument. And when the judge speaks his final verdict, the entire court system moves to make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to set aside, just for a moment, every word you have ever been instructed to say. Forget the phrases, forget the scripts. What I am about to tell you is the single truth that separates the decree that transforms a life from the affirmation that merely decorates it. Feeling is the only language your subconscious mind speaks fluently. Not English, not French, not the carefully chosen vocabulary of self-improvement. Feeling. Raw, physical, unmistakable feeling, the kind that lives in your chest before it ever reaches your lips. Think of it this way, you can write a letter in the most eloquent prose ever committed to paper, but if you address it in the wrong language, it will never be delivered. Your words are the letter, your feeling is the address. And the court reporter only delivers to one address, the one written in the ink of genuine emotion. Here is what this means in practice, and I want you to follow this carefully. Before you speak a single word of your decree, you must first build the feeling of the verdict inside your body. Not the feeling of wanting it, not the feeling of hoping for it, the feeling of it already being done. Choose one feeling, and just one, that your fulfilled desire would produce. For most people dealing with questions of abundance, that feeling is relief, not excitement, not celebration, simple, quiet, bone-deep relief. The kind a man feels when he realizes the storm has passed and his house is still standing. Where does relief live in your body? For most, it is in the shoulders, a loosening, a dropping of weight that you had stopped noticing you were carrying. Find that sensation right now, even a small echo of it. Let it spread. Give it 10 seconds, then 20. Do not rush past this step. This step is the entire mechanism. When that feeling is present, when your court reporter can feel it in the air of the courtroom, only then do you pick up the gavel. Only then do your words become law. With the courtroom charged with the proper feeling, you now issue your decree according to 3 unbreakable laws. Law number 1, speak from the end, not towards it. A judge speaks from a position of finality. He does not say, I hope the defendant will be found guilty. He says, the defendant is guilty. You must adopt this same finality. Weak plea, beggar, I will be successful. This implies you're not successful now. Powerful decree, judge, I am profoundly grateful for the overwhelming success that is now my present reality. The first is a hope for the future. The second is a statement of fact in the eternal now. It closes the case. Law number 2, use the past tense for your problems. This is a subtle but incredibly powerful technique. When you think or speak of your problems, always refer to them as if they are already over. Weak framing, I am struggling with debt. Powerful framing, I remember when I was concerned with such matters, and I am so grateful that 'tis all in the past. This frames your problem as a memory, not a current reality. You're telling the court reporter that case is closed and archived. We are no longer in that trial. Law number 3, present corroborating evidence. The court reporter, your subconscious, is logical in its own way. It loves proof. You must support your new decree with small, deliberate physical acts. This is your vote of confidence. If your decree is about abundance, your evidence cannot be an act of scarcity. You cannot decree, I am abundant, and then spend the day fretting over a 50-cent discount. Your evidence could be purchasing a slightly better quality of coffee. It could be placing $1 in the collection plate with a feeling of joy. It could be discarding old, worn-out clothes that represent a poverty consciousness. Each action is you, the judge, submitting a piece of physical evidence to the court record, proving that you are serious about the new verdict. The story of the baker's decree. Let me tell you about a man I will call Thomas, a baker by trade, masterful with his hands, genuinely talented, the kind of man whose bread you would cross a city to find. And yet his shop sat on the perpetual edge of failure. Thomas did what most people do. He repeated his affirmations faithfully every morning, though my bakery is successful. Abundance flows to me. He said the right words, but his court reporter recorded something entirely different because every decision Thomas made throughout the day told the real story. He bought the cheapest flour available. He refused to replace a broken display case because the cost frightened him. He haggled over every delivery. He counted every coin with the hands of a man who did not believe more coins were coming. The words said abundance. The actions said terror. The court reporter, as always, recorded the actions. The day Thomas understood this principle, he did something small. I want you to notice that it was small because the size of the evidence does not matter, only the feeling behind it matters. He went to a supplier and bought one single bag of the finest flour in the shop, not the entire inventory. One bag. It cost him 3 times what he normally paid, and his hands were not entirely steady when he reached into his pocket. But he bought it with a deliberate feeling of confidence, in the feeling of a man who expects his craft to be worthy of the finest materials. That evening he baked one batch of bread with that flour. Nothing else changed. Same oven, same hours, same shop. A woman came in the next morning, bought a loaf, and stopped at the door on her way out. She turned around and asked him what he had done differently. He told her simply that he had decided his bread deserved better ingredients. She laughed and said she would be back Friday with her sister. She came back Friday with her sister and her neighbor. Thomas did not throw anything away. He did not make a dramatic gesture. He made one small decision with the feeling of genuine authority behind it, and the court reporter recorded it immediately. One vote of confidence, one piece of physical evidence that the new verdict was real. Within 6 weeks, he had reordered that premium flour 4 times. The decree did not change his bread. The feeling behind the decree changed his belief, and his belief changed everything he touched from that moment forward. That is the mechanism, ladies and gentlemen, not magic, not mystery, simply the court reporter doing exactly what it has always done, recording what you truly believe and building your world accordingly. Your first verdict. The story of Emily and Thomas is your story. Every one of you seated here tonight has been standing in the wrong position in your own courtroom. You've been standing at the railing, hat in hand, hoping the judge will be lenient. You've been a supplicant in a room where you were born to sit on the bench. That ends tonight. I want you to do one thing before you sleep. Not tomorrow. Tonight. Choose one area of your life, just one, where you have been pleading instead of presiding. Perhaps it is your finances, perhaps it is your health, perhaps it is a relationship that has grown cold and distant. Choose the one that weighs on you most heavily, because that weight is simply the evidence of how long the wrong verdict has been on the books. Then sit quietly, not frantically, not desperately, quietly, and spend 1 full minute dwelling in the feeling of that matter already resolved. Not wished for, not prayed over, resolved. Feel what your body feels when that burden is simply gone. Let that feeling become real and present in your chest, your shoulders, your breath. And then from that place of felt authority, issue your decree. Speak it as a man or woman who has already seen the outcome and is merely making it official, because that is precisely what you're doing. So